And welcome back to Flexible Games, where today I'm going to do a video unlike most of my other videos, and that is covering this game, Hytale. This game was announced 5 years ago, December of 2018. 5 years ago, it was announced, and it's still in development. 2 years ago, they announced they're reprogramming the entire game. Engine, everything is being reprogrammed. And the amount of information given to us is minimal in these blog post updates. And so largely, anybody who is on my Twitter account kind of knows how I feel about this game right now. But let me, in a more broad sense, talk about what I see as the massive, massive problems that this game is already showing signs of with the decisions that they're making for this game. So again, the game was announced 5 years ago with in-engine coverage, and it looked like it was close to release. It blew up. It got huge. I don't know how many views we have here, but yeah, there's a lot of views. How many views are on this? I don't even know. But over 30 million views. So that garnered a whole lot of attention. They got an influx of a huge amount of money. And then they sold, before the game was even out, they sold their company to a Chinese company. So now the game is sold to Riot Games, which is owned in part or in majority by a Chinese company, like Tencent, I believe it is. So already I am extremely suspicious of this game and the choices that the developers made by selling it to a company who could, in theory, track every move you make. Now, that's not guaranteed or set in stone. There, time will tell on that. But here's the bigger problem that I have. This development update that just released today, November 30th, doesn't really tell us much. There's no in-engine footage. They're continually talking about starting to integrate the game systems into the engine. So they haven't even done that yet. And all we get in terms of teaser information, teaser video, is this here. Is this little animation, which is just a concept, which is a pre-rendered animation. Don't hold any stock into that because it is pre-rendered animation. Also, the fact that, it's on the most basic character in the game. There's nothing new here in terms of these Quebecs. There's, more on their lifestyle, but there's nothing deep into the game. They really glossed over everything. There was no mention of dates. There was no mention of progress in concrete terms. As a programmer, I am very suspicious of blog posts like this because there's no information. They're just blah. It's just blah fluff information. The number one thing that I am concerned about, the number one thing is this: a capital for avatars. When I read that they're adding a centralized location for players of the game to meet, that rings a bell in my head as an always online or an MMORPG game. Right? That is a far, far cry distant from the adventure style, Minecraft style, choose your own thing that they were first billed as. It looks like the game is taking a massive pivot away from pure adventure creative building, turning it into a possible microtransaction, always online, just gore fest of many, many players, and who knows how they're going to handle that. But there's one other clue that really, really makes me nervous, is when we go into their jobs posting on the top here, you go to jobs and you go down to the engineering lead for the engine. Okay, this is a critical tech position. And I always look at their jobs. I have actually interviewed for a job for this company 4 years ago. I interviewed when they were initially saying, hey, we need people to get content for us before they started reprogramming the whole engine. I don't even know what happened to those jobs, but so many people applied to those jobs, they were able to hire plenty of people. But the thing that really worries me about this game is we have the capital structure of some centrally located world that all players have to log into, and there's no information in terms of having your own server. There was no mention of that in this blog post of having your own single player or offline experience. There was no mention of that. And then if we look at this lead engine engineer, so this is a core individual writing for the engine. If we look at basically what they're looking at, if we look at this, let's build this up. Experience working on games as a service. And I know my monitor is completely blowing out my face right now. Games as a service is a very worrying term. And anybody who is a fan of the modded Minecraft or the Minecraft style voxel games or Vintage Story or Fortress Craft Evolved should worry immensely about games as a service being a perk to this game development cycle. That means we are looking at a possible pay monthly or a loot box, or what's a good way to put that? Buying gems, buying power-ups, buying, microtransaction style game. So that tells me this game is not going to be what people are thinking it's going to be, that whoever masters that they sold this to, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, they are completely pivoting the monetization style of this game to try to eke out and squeeze as much possible money out of the fans as they possibly can, which means most people. And again, you have to balance this in terms of what can you afford. You buy Minecraft, you buy Vintage Story, there is no monthly fee. There is no microtransaction. There isn't anything else to buy other than whatever you want, right? Maybe you want your own server and you want to buy your own server and you have all of your friends play on your server. There is no mention of that possibility with this development update. There is no mention. And it actually looks like they are leaning away from that possibility by having this capital style thing, right? This is where players from all parts of Hytale come together to make friends, share experiences, compete in mini games, and whatever, trade. This means you are always going to be online. Whatever you're playing, you're going to be able to go to this capital. Now, some people might appreciate that. Some people might like that. But I can guarantee you a whole lot of people are going to have major, major problems. And who knows what kind of back-end tracking is going to be done, because this game, this studio, is again owned by a Chinese company. And that is a problem. That is a huge problem, because the potential is there for misuse of whatever data that they're tracking. and I have to really show people the other side of the hype train of this game. For one, it is still, I would estimate, 1 to 2 years at least away from any sort of beta or release, because they haven't even integrated the parts of the engine together yet. So there's a lot of work left to be done on this, and I don't have a lot of confidence in what the end result is going to be, how integrated online is going to be, and just like be very cautious of this game and the hype that it has. And for that, I take whatever questions you have, put them in the comments. If you disagree with me, I am fine with that. But I wanted to show that as a programmer, I am incredibly concerned with the direction that this game is going, the amount of hype that it's had. And I think that having a voice on the other side like mine is good. Having some criticism is good. And for the most part, it would help frame everything together. Because I think there's something very, very wrong with the decisions that this game is taking. And so let me know if your comments down in the comments section. Please hit that like button if you appreciated this video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I thank you again for watching.